Good day, everyone, and welcome to News in English with Tutor Tom for Wednesday, the 4th of October 2023. So, after yesterday's article all about Canada, we're going to stick with the topic of travel and we're going to look at China because this week is an 8-day holiday in China. I've been having many classes with students in China, helping them with their English, and they've been telling me all about it. And so I wanted to share this article today to tell everyone else about it and just to talk about the sheer size of the travel happening in China over these 8 days. So it's really, really fascinating. And I'm actually not surprised to speak with my students from China and for them to say that they're actually going to stay at home because it's so busy on the transport network. So the planes are very busy, the trains are very busy, the roads are very busy. So quite a few of my students have actually decided to stay at home to avoid the congestion and the busyness on the transport networks. And you'll start to understand why that is the case as we go through this article. So the title of the article is Golden Week, Chinese Seek Cheap Wanderlust in Economic Gloom. China's gloomy economy has not dampened its people's wanderlust. It is seeing record travel for the annual Golden Week holiday, despite slow growth, high youth employment, and a property market in crisis. More than 21 million people will fly during the 10-day break. Actually, I believe it's 8 days, but it's saying here 10 days, which may include the weekend, which began on Friday, according to China's civil aviation regulator. That includes 14,000 domestic flights a day as young Chinese on a shoestring budget look to explore closer to home. This Golden Week, where the annual Mid-Autumn Festival happened to coincide with National Day celebrations, has turned into the year's longest break. It's the second Golden Week holiday this year, following a shorter break in May. But with China's economy showing no major signs of recovery since then, businesses are hopeful but wary. And travelers are tightening their purse strings. Young Chinese who are eager to kick off more revenge travel after prolonged COVID-19 lockdowns have been taking to social media to swap advice on how to make the most of the holiday. Gao Yang, for instance, said he plans to cover 9 Chinese cities, clocking 6,000 kilometers between all of them in just 8 days. He considers himself a special forces traveler, a term for roughing it out so you can run through a packed yet cheap holiday schedule. Gao Yang's itinerary involves scaling 4 mountains. Others have flooded their feeds with hour-by-hour itineraries, detailed breakdowns of their budget, and recommendations for affordable places to eat. A hashtag challenging people to trek from China's south to north was widely discussed on Weibo, while other popular topics included budget travel and traveling on a whim. China's national railway said it plans to run 12,000 odd trains each day over the holiday, a 20% jump on an average day otherwise, to meet the increased demand. Domestic travel bookings for air and train tickets, hotel reservations and tour packages for Golden Week surged by 88% compared to the previous week, said online travel agency Trip.com. And they are up by more than 4 times compared to the same period last year. Top domestic destinations include Beijing, Shanghai, Chengdu, and Hangzhou, which is currently hosting the Asian Games. Cities in the northwest, known for their scenic autumn landscapes like Birkin and Urumqi in Xinjiang, are also expecting more tourists, according to Trip.com. But the average spend per traveller may not stack up against the increased traffic, warns Gary Bowerman, director of travel marketing firm Check-in Asia. He said the spends had been lower than forecast during the last Golden Week break in May, when domestic travel had rebounded to pre-pandemic levels. Local businesses that are vying for tourism dollars seem well aware of shrunken budgets. Some travel agencies are promoting pure fun, no shopping group tours to assure prospective customers that there are no hidden costs. Chinese food delivery and e-commerce app Jianping is encouraging people to take a nationwide food tour. The motherland is so big, let's go eat, reads the tagline on one of its pages on Weibo. But the deals haven't tempted some, such as public relations executive Sally. The 30-year-old says she's decided to stay put this Golden Week, instead taking only a day trip with her friends to the outskirts of Beijing, where she lives. There is so much to see and explore within China. Of course, we all want to enjoy ourselves, but the thought of spending money and the guilt that comes with it doesn't interest me, she said. But on the whole, otherwise cautious consumers appear to be willing to splurge on one-time expenses like travel, said Steve Saxon, who leads consulting firm McKinsey's travel practice in Asia. While domestic travel is certainly a boost for the sluggish economy, he said it's not yet clear whether this is still the result of pent-up demand because of travel restrictions that had been in place for 3 years, or if the demand will be long-lasting. This is also the first long holiday since China ended restrictions on people traveling outside of the country. It lifted a ban on group tours to more than 70 countries in August. Most people still have some reservations about traveling out of China, with data from travel analytics firm Forward Keys showing outbound travels down 40% when compared with 2019. But momentum seems to be picking up, with Malaysia, Thailand, and South Korea expected to see a large number of Chinese tourists this week compared with Golden Week in 2019. I wanted to go somewhere abroad because anywhere in China would be so crowded, says journalist Yuka Yu, who has planned an 8-day trip to Malaysia, which includes hiking up the country's highest mountain, Mount Kinabalu. He said he picked Southeast Asia because he didn't want to spend too much on flights. I guess people like me are still revenge traveling because I haven't traveled abroad for leisure in years, he added. I will have to save up in other aspects of life, living in poverty, but traveling richly. So a really interesting article there, giving us a bit of an insight into this Golden Week happening in China this week. And it's really interesting to see that the numbers of people traveling are very high, but on average, people are spending less money because of concerns around the economy. So that's completely understandable. I'm really keen and interested to hear from my Chinese students and my Chinese subscribers in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you've been planning this particular Golden Week, this Mid-Autumn Festival. Have you stayed in your own city? Have you decided to travel within China? Or have you decided to travel abroad? Let me know and give me your reasons why. And is the fears around the economy slowing down a major factor in your choice to travel or not travel? So let me know in the comments below. And in terms of interesting vocabulary, interesting words, again, jam-packed, really full, this article was, of some fantastic words. We can't go through every single one because it would take forever, but we can go through a few that I like. So the first one is seek. Seek is attempt to find something. For example, they came here to seek shelter from biting winter winds. That's the word seek. Wanderlust. Wanderlust. What does that mean? That is a strong desire to travel. A strong desire to travel. That is the word wanderlust. Gloomy. Gloomy. That can mean two things. In the first context, it means dark or poorly lit. but in the context of this article, it means causing or feeling depression or despondency. For example, gloomy forecasts about the economy. Gloomy. Dampened. Dampened. So that can be one of two things. So dampened is the past tense of dampen, and that is to make slightly wet. For example, the fine rain dampened her face, but in the context of this article, it was used to describe making something less strong or intense. For example, nothing could dampen her enthusiasm. Shoestring. Shoestring. That can mean one of two things. Literally, it is the string that you get on your shoe to tie up your laces, the shoestring. But in the context of this article, it was actually a small or inadequate budget. A small or inadequate budget. For example, many early studies were done on a shoestring. Wary. Wary. Feeling or showing caution about possible dangers or problems. For example, dogs which have been mistreated often remain very wary of strangers. That's the word wary. Wary. Whim. Whim. That is a sudden desire or change of mind, especially one that is unusual or unexplained. For example, she bought it on a whim. That is the word whim. And then finally, we're going to finish with a nice phrase to use when you're talking about budget or money. And that is the phrase tightening the purse strings. Tightening the purse strings. That is to decrease spending or disallow increased spending, to increase control of spending. Tightening the purse strings, to decrease spending. A really nice phrase if you're looking to save money. You could say, I'm trying to tighten my purse strings, or they are tightening their purse strings. They are decreasing their spending. Okay, so that wraps us up for the article. Really keen to hear from my Chinese students about their plans for the Golden Week, the Mid-Autumn Festival. Let me know in the comments below and let's have a chat. Anyway, I'll catch you in tomorrow's video.